Hey guys, welcome back. Let's just start out with being honest and upfront. We had a switcher issue. The system was broken. The guys are working on a fix behind the scenes. They say it won't happen again, but we sincerely want to apologize to Moody, who got stuck on camera for way too long. Team Envy, Team C9, and of course, you guys at home. You're the viewers. You're what matters most to us, and those confusing moments are not fun for anybody. So accept our apologies. And we will do our best and everything in our power not to have it happen again. All right, that stuff said, let's go back to goofing off and having a little bit of fun, because at the end of the day, we're just playing games, right?
Yeah, right?
The best games out there. All right, so a wonderful game, incredible play. Honestly, I thought by WTF, I thought they were going to win this when the circle started to formulate. And then Wildcard just pushed them out of a really good position. And that from that point, it just kind of unraveled into an NVC9 throwdown for the big one.
I wouldn't say Wildcard pushed them out. I almost feel like, I don't think White10 Fate knew that Wildcard were there. And that's something that we'll probably find out tonight when we talk to the boys later. But White10 Fate, we liked their position initially. I think later on we're going to go through exactly how they traced their route around the map. But we were really impressed by it. But then when they did that 2-2 spread outside of, I believe it was Rachel that called it the aggro crag.
Oh, yes. Okay, that's the biggest takeaway from this one is Seltzer, who, by the way, it's her birthday. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing the whole thing. Should I? No, I'm not.
No.
Okay, anyway. Maybe every break I'll do a line. The big takeaway, though, is we call it like the radar mount, and we've always had kind of the terms for it. She called it the aggro crag, which to me is hilarious, because she's like, all the teams are trying to climb it. It's like an episode of Guts.
Yeah, you were of like the age to watch Guts?
I was the age to watch
Guts.
Because
I am not. I am familiar with it at like 3 degrees separation.
you can Kevin Bacon Guts. I live that life. And
you are my connection. You are my
connection. Name forever. A big shout out though, we saw K-Mine, the Forest Shark himself. That guy thrives on Orangle. He played out of his freaking mind.
Yeah.
Won a 2v1 against superior position and armaments.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love how he's like, yeah, no, I knew I had the blue on my back, and I had a good ridge to peek over, and it's like, those are both things that you don't want happening to you. But he won with it, so you know what? Take it. Sure.
All right, let's see. Let's chat. Let's talk about let's ask some questions from you guys. So Cobra Does Canada, which is a fun name.
All right.
He wants
to know, Canada with a K?
No. Are you afraid, like Crab with a K? It's how you know it's fake.
Oh, Cobra has a C too.
Are you afraid of the dark, Cameron?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really?
I get freaked out by my own imagination and anything to deal with the unknown. So like anything like deep, dark water I can't deal with. I need my closet doors closed when I'm asleep. Basically all my doors closed when I'm asleep. Yeah, it's
okay.
I don't do the whole like leg sticking out of the bed sheet either.
What's that?
You know how like when you're really hot, but like
I know what it's like to be really hot.
Yeah, I know. But you like it while you're sleeping, but like you still want the sheet on because it'll be too cold without it. So you just stick like your foot out, and that's the perfect temperature. Okay. But then it's like, wait, a monster's gonna grab it.
It's like we're learning how to sleep.
I know people. I know people are familiar with this. I've seen memes about it. It's a common thing. I'm sure chat's lighting up with it.
They're having a great time.
Yeah,
exactly. If you guys don't know, it's the analyst takeover. We don't like a waste screen, so we figured why not hop on, chat with you guys just a little bit. Cloud9 took the big win there. We chat with, so if you want to talk to us and chat, you're more than welcome to. Yeah. We're reading hashtag NPL over on Twitter, just having a good time with it. So we're learning how to sleep. It's Seltzer's birthday, hence the cool balloons. Yeah. Let's see, what else? Anything else we've got? Codes have been sent out. Man, you guys in your t-shirts. It's in the same shirt. Calm down. If you need a t-shirt, just call me. All right, I'll send one over. It's not true. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, let's see. What else do we have to go over here? We had we simulated during the break what it's like to watch blackouts.
That's some banter.
Was it a little bit of a shot?
A little bants.
It was slow. Okay, last game was good. Aggro Crag was important. Holding the high ground is huge, but we saw sort of the downside of holding the high ground, right? If that peak is dangerous, and if someone like K-Mine managed to line up those headshots, there's just no countering the push.
So, okay, so I said that having to climb over a ridge like that is a disadvantage. K-Mine did use it to where it is an advantage because you can reposition and peek up, and it's like whack-a-mole for the other guys, because they honestly didn't have too much cover.
What's your favorite arcade game? Whack-a-mole makes me think of that. Skee-ball? Seems like a skee-ball game.
No, there's that one Dungeons & Dragons game.
What?
Yeah, it's
Gauntlet.
It's similar, yeah. But it's like a 2D Dungeons & Dragons.
starting where it's the most important spot in the show, scoreboards, Cameron. Match 1 wrapping up with Cloud9 on top. Team Envy right behind him, but what a performance by C9.
Yeah, good job by them. We talked about how there was a rift between the top 2 and everyone else.
Yep.
Cloud9, 21 points. Good job to close that. But Envy, 17 points for them. That gap didn't close by much. It closed by 4 points.
Why tempt fate?
Yes.
Return to form is what I like to see.
I feel like
Coming in at 12.
I feel like that's a bigger, I guess, new thing out of this match. Because Cloud9 and Envy have been at the top for a while, but why tempt fate? They've been struggling. And Ghost too. Ghost, we can get into a little bit why it's not enough for them
You're
yet.
such a hard critic,
They're not,
man.
We'll see. Okay, so we'll see. Yesterday, we'll talk about later. Phase 1 right now. Tempo Storm still in the lead, but what is that? 11 points behind is Envy, but then 20 points below that is Cloud9 and Shoot to Kill right on their heels.
Envy is closing the gap on Tempo Storm like the ring girl crawling out of the well. It's got to be terrifying for Tempo as they get ever closer. Cloud9 Shoot to Kill right on top of each other as well. But here's the story that we were talking about. Relegation's also an issue.
Yeah.
Anyone below 10 has to fight for their right to party in the NPL. Ghost and United are already at war, but Simplicity is furthering the gap of safety. When's the point, Cameron, that 11 through 16 throw a big wrench in the system and just start hot dropping, hard pushing, and making people pay?
It's got to be next week.
Next week?
I don't
do it now.
You could, yeah, so if you're 11 or 12, I could see the argument for doing it now, especially when the rift is that big between Ghost and Simplicity. But definitely next week is like the latest you can start it if you really want to try and get out of the bottom 6.
Why put off to tomorrow what you can hot drop today? Get out there, make some points, make a statement, okay? Earn your spot. If you want to take Pachinki for the relegation matches, now start taking it. Stop being so nervous. Get out there and fight.
I mean, but after that match, Cloud9 is not maybe not the best team to try and tussle.
Hey, well, amen to that. You want to do something else. Whoa, lost the pen, but I caught it.
You caught it.
Felt pretty good about that dexterity.
10 out of 10.
Hashtag pass the test. Okay, so great games by them. K-Mine blew my mind, okay? And anyone who's ever said, well, we couldn't win because they had superior gear, you lose that argument right now, right? Because they had tier 3s. They had an AUG lined up against him. He had a good old-fashioned M4, if I remember correctly. Pushed up over the top and took out a double. So kudos. But that guy's just like lights out strong on a rank.
It's amazing. Forest Shark, maybe now the Mountain Shark. Do you want to call it that?
Right?
Mountain Goat?
Nah, it's just Forest Shark. He's a Forest Shark.
There's grass that counts.
Let's look back at how we came to the final on the aggro crag. You know what time it is, Cammy?
Highlights!
I was setting my highlights, Cameron.
That sounded like you were setting me up. I'm sorry. Anyway, Moody. So Moody has been performing very, very well since his return to the NPL yesterday, and he started it off with 2 kills. Actually, I think about to be 3 as they wipe Lazarus in the very beginning. This started because the plane path was so bad.
You mentioned the monsters that try to grab your leg while you sleep. That's Moody. Lazarus ripped from the bed and the game. 16th place. Rado.
But look at how many of these teams are in little separated split squabbles. And oh gosh, oh, that was a dirty flick by Smurf onto that.
Split squabbles with the dirty flick.
I mean, it happened with Envy versus Lazarus, it happened with Oxy versus Space Station, it ends up happening to Noble and United.
I hate to see it.
And that's just because the plane path was so bad, and then they all had to come back to Military Island, and this was a macro-focus game.
When you don't have cover, you just stick the car in there, and it worked out for a little while. But C9 ultimately removes STK. Let's go to the final 3 teams. Tamai trying to push uphill, but he gets blasted from the high ground, and here is the finish. 1v1 man left on each side. Moody goes for the shot, but he's too low on health. It was a SCAR, not an M4, by the way.
Yeah.
I said he had an M4.
On K-Mine? Yeah. What? 5.56 weapon.
5.56 weapon.
It's all the same.
It's not. M4 is superior in every way.
7.6. 7.6.
You know this guy's a barrel? Like, he likes the barrel. I'm just saying.
It's totally chic.
Okay, let's speaking of a man who likes the barrel, who clearly knows what he's talking about, let's go to your analyst pick for the highlight reel.
So we did want to give, the 2 of us wanted to give an overhead view of how Why Tempt Fate played this. They looted Novo and then moved into this crossroads position. This was a little bit after Ghost and Vicious had fought, but this is a strong position to hold people out from the bridge.
Yeah, so here's what I like. WTF didn't win, unfortunate, but it's about smart plays. They go to the bridge lockout. They take that spot. They watch Endemic, and meanwhile, they're listening to the mountain. Is anyone on the aggro crag, Cammy? How do you know?
well, they didn't hear a single shot
No one
from that.
shot at them.
And once this circle popped, they pushed down into it because with the water being removed, they are guaranteed center, or close enough to center with that position. They didn't move earlier because the water could have still been in on circle 3, but now they hold down this spot, and this is a good position to get a lot of kills, and the exits aren't as bad down south as it is north or west.
For those of you watching at home, Circle 4 removes water as much as possible from the circle, so they knew it would be a northern shift. They end up right smack in the middle of it, but they do not stop Wildcard from pushing in under their flank.
Yeah.
And what happens is Envy picks a fight with the guys who went south, and immediately when that happens, Wildcard pushes in and finishes off the splits, the 2-2 split.
I feel like if Y10 Fate knew that Wildcard were there, they would have been able to surround them because Wildcard, they were basically standing on top of each other in a pocket. It would have been an easy engagement, so I suspect that Y10 Fate had absolutely no clue.
That was a great play, but again, I want to give a shout out to Envy, who played that circle very, very well. Their split was strong. They took a good point south of the aggro crag and worked out of it very effectively. Envy they didn't win, but they were my MVPs for that round for the mental way which they approached this game. We'll get to see that in a minute, but let's talk about, okay, it's not the worst possible play in PUBG, but because there's one that could be a little bit farther south. But other than that, it is the worst possible horizontal, bottom of the map, craziness.
It's 98% as bad as it can get. So as far as I'm concerned, it's awful. It's the worst. And it's definitely the worst that we've seen in this league so far.
Worst plane in NPL so far, but the best circle for the worst plane.
Yeah, it really is. And no one likes to go melee, and so it was only Y10 Fate that did because trying to go super north, even as far north as Razak, is rough for them, and it ends up working out for them. We saw how they grabbed that good initial position. But let's see the rotations from Cloud9 and Envy coming in from opposite sides, where they both end up on the south side of the crag.
And now look at Envy. They took Milta Power Beach for their boat. If you are a casual player at home and you hate military circles, here's a bonus info for you. Milta Power Beach has 2 boat spawns that are almost always untouched. So when you're desperate for that boat, don't just go down to the shark fin or look at the basic channel. Head over there instead. It's a great rotation point. Envy utilized that to their advantage.
Yeah.
Last fight, you can see it on the screen. We see where K-Mine comes up over the top and wins the shootout with a half-health Moody. So, you know, it's tough to win when you don't have the health to do so, but he gets a nice shot, finishes it for a good chicken dinner. Both of those teams really stepping up and playing very, very well in that match.
And yeah, ultimately, even though it was Cloud9 that got the victory, it was a solid round by both squads.
Yep.
Envy holding down the south side from the beginning, the nice little dips and ridges south of what we're actually continuing to call the aggro crag.
I dig.
Good job. But featured teams, match 2.
Yeah, I'm into it. Okay, Ghost Gaming, Simplicity, Team Envy, and Tempo Storm. You'll notice 12th and 9th at first and second. Teams on the cusp versus those living the dream as we get started on this one. Let's look at our first comparison, Cameron, Ghost versus Simplicity.
So with that last game, Ghost did climb back to 11th where they started yesterday. The reason why I want Ghost to do more is because it's not enough. They got good top placements yesterday, but they didn't get the kills, and they actually fell to 12th because E United had a good day. They're back up on 11th right now. They have good rotations finally in this league, but they need to put kills on top of it if they want to breach that gap between them and Simplicity.
Yeah, they need to put up consistent numbers, but it feels like maybe that's having them playing with fear. They just need to play as Ghost does. Go aggressive and try to pick up points. On the opposite side of the coin, Envy and Tempo Storm in what okay, it's a battle for first that we didn't expect 2 days ago.
No.
Envy came in strong yesterday. Their kill average has gone up by a full kill per game since yesterday. So these guys are absolutely putting in work. They're now ahead of Tempo in damage and kills. That sets the stage for a rise to first place.
It does. And Tempo Storm, they had a bad day yesterday and a bad first game. Now a Millie Island game is a rough one. So that can be excused a little bit, but they cannot have any more bad games today.
Team Envy started military, ended military, doing a great job. There's your last look at the brackets, or the rankings before we head over to our next game, our first mirror match of the day. I want the numbers fresh in your head as we send it over to the 3 rings of the NPL binder. Matchroom, Moses, and Marty Grassaurus.
Oh my God, he stepped on my joke. I was gonna call him Purplesaurus. It is indeed WTF Moses Matchroom and the host of a children's TV show, Borosaurus.
Look, I want to point it out and known that we are all purple today.
This is
Some
true.
more than others. Some more than others.
You
I just
forewarned
committed
us.
to the bit.
Yeah, you forewarned us, and you were like, "Hey, I'm going to be wearing something crazy." I was like, "All right, just give me a color. I'm going to try to match one of the three of them."
You look like Dr. Seuss's biological son.
I'll take it. I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
I like it too. Anyway, well,
I speak for the chickens.
on to something that's more topical. Believe it or not, Envy has cut the lead on Tempo Storm to 11 points. Tempo Storm, by the way, came into the weekend with a 50-point lead over second place.
That is
it's
big
huge.
boy hours.
I mean, Tempo Storm hasn't had the best games per se, but they're getting close to that stage where they're due one. We keep talking about Tempo Storm and Envy, but we also can't forget Cloud9 and Shoot to Kill. Only 3 points separate third and fourth at the direct time, so one more game could really switch that one as well.
And here's a team that we have our eyes on very much. Let's Linksy. I'm going to go ahead and get that camera situated. They are currently in 10th place with 151 points, 17 points up on Ghost. So Ghost, they're so close. They're so close. They just need to have that one big game. Last game was setting up really nicely, but just, again, wasn't there for the finish.
So would you, I guess the question now stands.
Okay.
With only 11 points separating them from first to second, is Tempo shook, as they say?
I don't think they will be really shook until they get past. And right now, I still think they feel confident in the lead, but, who knows?
I don't know if Tempo gets shook.
I don't think they do.
Yeah,
They're
we'll
they're
see.
like cats.
Because
Every
cats
emotion
never-
look exactly the same.
Well, we're going to see another plane pass. We are on Miramar, and we
go
are
south again.
super far south over Leonis, right to left. And that is going to put some pressure on those northern-based teams to try and find those vehicles early. YTM Fate, I think, is going to be the ones wondering what they're going to do here next as they try and get to Pozo. But this is going to be okay for teams going south at this stage and for players in Leonis.
I'll tell you what, when everything is so close and has so much riding on the line, you hate to see these planes like this. I mean, we saw the result in it last game.
You do.
I mean, I do
say,
because it's entertaining and fun.
I enjoy these.
But if you have, with all this stuff riding on, we saw, yesterday we had, normal planes, normal circles, and everything was kind of, squared away until maybe circle 3 or 4. Today, I mean, we came into circle 2 and there was only 13 teams up. So, I mean, it's crazy the difference that this kind of stuff can make.
I mean, I enjoy it whenever it's nice and cushy and everybody gets their little spots and everybody
Do
drops.
ya?
But I also really enjoy it when everything goes sideways and we might have a bus just run over a Noble member
No,
out of the
not
blue.
like this.
Boom's gonna take a couple of shots with a shotgun to scare him away.
Of all the
Always.
guns to get your hands on when a vehicle with 4 guys in it comes running by.
That car doesn't move, guys.
Uh-oh.
Run away.
Huh. All right.
Is that
feels bad,
it,
man.
as they say, or is that not it?
Well, look, Lazarus had a really, really rough round.
Oh, no.
Going out probably, I think they went out in 2 minutes last
Walt
time.
Jr.
And Walt Jr. just taking the pistol shots. He's James Bond in it. This Fozu very, very low here. Can he make his way around?
One more tap is really all it takes, and you can tell everybody on Noble's like, this is a point. We want these points before they get to any loot. Woe is now hiding behind a ridge, praying nobody sees him. Walt Jr. still making his way forward.
Oh, man.
He's got the UMP to work with, but Fozu still just running ahead. There's no real loot around them. Woe finally gets spotted out. Boom's going to go ahead and flesh this out. Is this going to be where they stop, or are they going to continue the press?
So the question mark here is, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but it was, I think Sub-Zero did crash out there as the driver. So yeah,
no.
we do have 63 in the lobby. So we'll see what they decide to do with this one. But for now, we're game on. As Lazarus, that sucks.
I mean, can things just get any worse for these guys? I mean, they go out so early in game 1. I mean, under 2 minutes. Now it's 3 minutes. Sub-Zero drowns. And it's bad luck.
Yeah.
It's bad luck. What are you going to do?
The exasperated sigh, I think, is the feeling that we are all having at the time. But Noble now has been just slightly distracted, and looks like they're still going to continue on with this press. But the problem with it is they're not getting any loot, per se. So, sure, they're chasing around after this, but mid-game's going to be a little bit rough for how much time this is taking up.
Well, look, Walt Jr. was pushing it pretty hard with a UMP, knowing that they, didn't have any weapons or anything, and then the rest of his squad just wasn't really with him. They had 3 guys taking long-range shots at Woe in the street. So I think that maybe Noble, if they would have pushed this a little bit harder following Walt, they could have come out with a full squad wipe here. Unfortunately, they had to pull off of this as Lazarus does find their way.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
We didn't get a specific word, but I'm feeling the air of
Okay,
what will
good.
probably be a reset. So yes, we did have a player crash early, and that will be a full-on remake. But
Well, let's be honest. It needed to happen.
it needed to happen, absolutely, and that's all about competitive integrity. But I just wanted to underline just how unlucky Lazarus is to these first 2
It's real.
games.
That was, look, I'm glad there's a restart because, after a bad game 1, you never want to see it kind of turn around like that again in game 2 and something that's completely out of your control. So kudos to production, kudos to Edmonds for making sure that this thing gets remade because that is just, nobody wants to be in that position.
Lazarus is also kind of my underdog team. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah.
No bias inside of it, but like these guys are making a strong approach. They're constantly moving up the leaderboards and they're constantly learning. We're seeing them get more aggressive inside of it. And after the catastrophe that was the last round, and then to start off this way, that would have just been like, lack of a better term, just 2 kicks to the nuts on that team. That would have not been good for him.
Straight back-to-back swift ones.
Well,
as
look, and if we're being realistic about this, Lazarus is sitting in 13th place with 111 points, right? Simplicity's in 10th with 151. Lazarus still has a shot here of getting out of relegation realm. I mean, they're 40 points out. So, you don't want to see that kind of, after having what happened in game 1, and you don't want to see that come down to something completely out of your control. Linksy,
He's got the feeling.
I'm
It's
not,
the emotion
is he
we're all
happy?
feeling.
Are you hungry? Are you thirsty?
This is a strategy by Lynx.
You sad?
He leaves the noise-canceling headphones on so we can't crack them, because if he had them off, he would just immediately start smiling. And you know what? I did have a chance to talk to Venerator there between games, and this is 100% true, that they do rub Taro for good luck. They give him a little belly rub, and
belly rub?
it has been working for them.
Well, I mean, hey, if it's working, you might as well stick with it. Nobody rubs my belly for good luck. They just rub my belly to make fun of
Because
my
you
belly.
look terrifying.
Fat.
I'm afraid you don't rub a man who's wearing a bow tie. It's science.
How is this terrifying? You literally said I look like an actual human king cake, or what was the one we let into today?
I said a lot of things today, Coral. I said a lot of things.
Yeah, well, the hits will keep on coming for sure. But everybody. Obviously, you never want to sit through a restart. Nobody likes that. But if they were in the same position, they would want it to be restarted for them. So
Everybody understands.
Good guys all the way around.
Yeah. This. Like everybody wants the competitive integrity inside of the situation. Everybody knows that one day it may happen to them. Everybody's just gonna take a second, kind of chit chat, goof off. I'm surprised we've seen a couple of players kind of like playing around and goofing off in the background. Everybody else has got their super serious face talking to their coach. Yeah, that's right, Jerry. I'm talking about you with your super serious face.
Can we talk about how attractive Microstar is for a second?
My God,
He's such a beautiful man.
He's gorgeous. Here we go. Check in on the boys from Vicious. Could
man.
use a big day here today. They're kind of in the same place as Lazarus. They still have a shot here at getting out of relegations. They just need a nice little big day.
Yep.
Look,
You're fully
I believe
embracing the child
I
post
believe
now.
that you guys can do it. These boys, they keep getting in good positions. Things just not going their way as easy. Gonna give you the double thumbs up. He believes.
That is the correct way to wear a hoodie,
out.
100%. All the way. That's the way I wear it when I'm home all the time.
It's like he got it half of the way on. I was like, you know what? This is good for me.
Yeah,
Keep it warm.
Got to keep the beard warm, right, Moses?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I
beard
would
get
say
cold.
so.
Oh, hey,
Sudden awareness. Oh, cameras are on us. Do something crazy.
Look for Drassel.
Oh yeah, make sure to check out the PUBG Twitter. Make sure you participate in your favorite French Canadian poll.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not going to
I
ask
feel-
Moses this question. This is a dangerous question to ask
What's
Moses.
that? What?
Who's
Your favorite French Canadian?
Well, I got to feel bad. The poll was stilted. I mean, he came on as a popular player. He's obviously getting a lot of votes. Drassel, second most popular French Canadian. I got to give a big shout out to Dill Hero, who I had no idea was French Canadian until his player interview.
Well, there you go. It's
there you go.
that's typical French Canadians, right? They're just they're very low key, humble,
Well, I mean, I'll have
Most
to-
of them, but then there's Moses.
and then he's not French.
Dude, it's
that's right.
only pockets of resistance remain of the French forces in Canada, and their battle cry is this: "Je suis une pomme."
Okay,
Yeah.
is that an apple, potato?
What?
I don't know.
Is it an
I just
apple or
remember
potato?
pomme de terre was apple of the earth.
Most people will look at me and ask that question: is that an apple or a potato?
That's true. Yeah, we're playing a little hide and seek here, a little in between game as the boys from Wild Card feeling pretty good, practicing that high intensity. I will say,
you failed us.
uh-oh. They're still feeling pretty good. Great day for those boys yesterday. It's definitely needed. Fighting their way up into 5th and currently sitting just 16 points out of 4th. They said that getting into 4th place, getting that Face It tournament invite was big for them. As we see the most sparkly thing on earth.
Do not stare directly at the trophy for prolonged periods.
My God, that's shiny. Look at all the
like
stars.
Eclipse glasses to put them on.
Yeah, don't look at it. Don't stare at it directly. It stares back at you. By the way, take a good look at that helmet. You might see it again soon.
Which helmet?
Yeah, the helmet on the top there.
Oh,
the
okay,
little flourishes on
I
the
like
side.
that one. It looks kind of
cool.
like the looks like the Lich King crown mixed with PUBG.
Yeah, it does. It makes you more aerodynamic when you're running too. Right? It's like put a
Only if you're
put some
doing the
racing
Naruto
stripes on
run,
it,
I
you
guess.
know?
Like what? You like
Yeah.
pull on, lean down, charge
wait.
off into it.
Look, I don't play games where the champions Naruto run.
Just a quick update for you guys. We are restarting the lobby. It is not just comedy hour for the casters, believe it or not. As much as you guys are not literally cringing out of your skin right now, we are just doing our absolute very best to make sure we showcase Maluk.
Making Twitch chat cringe or chat in general cringe is probably the easiest thing on earth, though.
Yeah,
honestly.
Just lean into the fun.
Yeah, just
lean in.
have fun. Remember fun chat.
That was before the internet and depravity.
Yeah.
It was just all before.
Fun. Remember when fun was just fun? You see, the boys from Tempo are having fun.
Yeah.
They'd be having a lot more fun if they still had that lead that they came in here with. But I mean, I think you were asking me beforehand if you think they're shook yet. Again, I don't think so, but I think that they're definitely
Feeling
concerned. Yeah, they're feeling the pressure coming from behind here. But the question is how they're going to respond, and I believe that Tempo performs even better when they think that they have a little bit more competition here. So getting ready here to see Tempo turn it on. Maybe have one of these big games here soon.
I mean, I bumped into Zampa just a few minutes ago, and he actually come up and he was like, "Hey, Envy's playing really well, so there's some respect that's like being garnered over towards
absolutely.
Envy." I don't necessarily say that Tempo Storm gets shook as much as they do get annoyed. They're like, "Oh, you're coming for our leaderboard spot? You want to take first place? All right, time to step it up back in your face a little bit more."
Hey, I know what that music means, Moses.
It definitely means everyone's going to put their headsets back on as we are getting ready again. We're about 30 seconds out from the start of match number 2. 100% for serious this time.
For realsies.
As Wildcard had a good game number 1. Everyone,
look at that.
actually, even Envy now, you have to wonder if that little break is gonna keep the momentum going, if that's gonna throw them off their game. They're 11 points off of first place, the top 4 going to the London Major in the middle of April there, and the bottom's teams trying to avoid relegation.
I love how we keep talking about the London Major and not all of the money that you get for first, second, third, and fourth. I mean,
You get
that's
a ton
also
of
an
money.
exciting factor inside
It's a
of it. so-
bonus.
It's a big bonus, big nice bonus to spend in I don't know, Piccadilly. Is that the thing in London? I don't know. I haven't been.
I thought Piccadilly was the color of that jacket.
I mean, hey, you know.
Hey, you get a better plane path though, so we're gonna
Oh,
go
that's even-
right
that's
to
way
left,
better.
north to south, and we are back in the air. And now it's time for game number 2 here on Miramar. A little better of a plane path here, Matt.
Oh yeah.
I mean, without a doubt. I was kind of enjoying the cruelty of the last one, so I know this is much more, well, the playing paths that you enjoy, Poro. And, I mean, let's be honest, we've only got a couple more games today, so this will be a little bit more pleasant for a lot of teams.
Yeah, I think a lot of the teams in the lobby kind of silently thanking Lazarus for having that unfortunate disconnect issues, so they can get a better plane and they don't have to deal with any nonsense.
Let's see if Lazarus can avoid being dead within the first 2 minutes of this game as well.
Oh, they should be fine.
They're currently 0
so
for 1.
rude. They
Well, you
usually
say
do
that,
pretty
but-
damn good.
They're pushing back over there. They've got Wildcard. They're in the northern spot right now, right next to Noble as well, so not managing to get any separation. away from
Yeah, I mean, rude or not, they are sandwiched between 2 teams already, and they're
That's
looking
true.
for vehicles. You can see them spinning around in their parachutes.
Not
Cloud9
ideal.
getting Picado relatively easy.
Also, a little bit of an adaptation coming out from White Sims Fate, going over to Valdemar, no longer going over to El Pozo was kind of one of their homes that we've seen them go to quite frequently.
Wasn't the
so,
path.
a little bit of a new adaptation. That's twice now we've had to see them go to new loot locations.
They-
Well, it worked out pretty good for them in the first game. I mean, they ended up getting Military Island over at Novo. Circle falls on them in NPL circles. Are we going to see one?
Potentially, I mean, for opposite side this
There
time
we go.
around. So White Fate, I think, does a pretty good job of pivoting off of Pozo if they don't get the path for it, and they are going to go down to the island area there. So for White Fate, they are going to have that southern rotate available that we've seen Tempo use, but Tempo will find themselves in a nice spot in the center of the zone.
There's a lot of water in the circle.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just can't ignore that part of it. It's just, we still got the islands in place, so please no. But really, it's going to make it very difficult for a lot of teams to find good locations to go to, specifically down towards the south. There's a lot of places that are open, but there's really just this wall of teams right along the circle on the west side. We've got Ghost, Envy, and E United all right on the edge of the circle.
Yeah, Tempo actually really split up right now. They left 2 in Impala. They have Sharky off to the west, kind of looting up little compounds there, here and there, and Zampa making his way all the way down to Puerto Paraiso. So this kind of, they want to get back together fairly soon here, I imagine.
You know, I have a little bit of a theory right now. Tempo Storm, a smart team, maybe looking to set up a trap for those teams who are going to be doing those southern rotates, because there's going to be so much pressure on the upper side of that first circle that Tempo could potentially pick up a couple of teams in rotation if they decide to go that way.
Well, on the map right now, we actually have one member, Zampo, that's all the way down towards the south. He's already separated away from the rest of his team. And we've got normally Tempo Storm and Impala, but they're way back down. Zampa's all the way down in Puerto Paraiso. So now we got a little bit of space separating out him. It looks like he is kind of that linchpin point that you were talking about.
Yeah. They've already sent, United already sending Dill here to go do a little light scout work in that area as well before they go and rejoin him. You can see Simplicity getting their loot on just off to the north of C9 in Picado, so they're going to have a little bit of a transition ahead of them. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these teams decide to make their way in, because we do, as you said, Moses, see a lot of these southern road transitions, and if Tempo finds themselves in a good position to kind of gatekeep that, or if even Temp Fate maybe starts their transition a little bit early, we could see some early kills here.
I'm kind of curious to see where Cloud9 goes. Like, they're known for moving very, very early, but I mean, with the way that the circle's set up, there's there's a lot of really good locations, but a lot of the locations they really like to take are already going to have teams that just have to move out of Los Leones and already can get to the spots.
Considering the water in this first circle, I'm going to expect to see them come in on the western side, probably to the south of where Ghost is currently set up. They got Nerf in the lead vehicle. He's going to try and find a path to a safety here. But you got to remember, with that water in play, depending on that first circle shift, all they got to do is kind of shade a little bit further to the west, and they start so close to center. This is a massive advantage for C9, always starting center.
I do love the spot that McCoy has picked out for Ghost here, just on the edge of La Bendita Crater. A lot of times we see circles kind of end up around that area, so Ghost taking that proactive stance, getting that position early, is a good move.
We've got a couple of places, like we talked about the water taking up a lot of space, but we also have Los Leones that people are going to try to move out of.
Nice
and
try.
we also have all the spot off to the west of Impala that's kind of like this flat lands, no man's land that nobody's going to go to. So there's actually a lot of dead space inside of this circle. So a lot of teams probably going to just try to figure out places along the hills to the south to try and take over, which is going to lead to potentially a cluster of teams all rotating right next to each other.
C9 has opted to come in, actually south past Leonis on the western side, not opting to dive center, but I was going to wonder about Ghost. They're going to come off the Bendita Crater and find themselves a center compound as well. But, look at Vexel. He's got a little bit of a line onto Smoke and Aces, but in true SSG fashion, not going to fire shots too early.
Yeah, they just want to take their time, stick with what's been working out for them. Currently, SSG in 7th place with 173 points, still within striking distance of that top 4, but they're going to need to do a little bit more work than we've seen them do this weekend so far.
Nice shots coming out over there. VZ was hitting some good shots, but now it's going to force VZ back onto that. A little bit of protection coming out from the other members of Cloud9. So Lobes took a little bit of damage on that, but should be able to make it over to his
This is dangerous.
net over here. We're slowly getting right next to each other, just really that hill separating us.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a, this is what I was wondering, if they're going to keep going. Protege is going to have a line. They're shooting at the lead vehicle, that's Nerf, but the real weak point is going to be the three-man vehicle in that truck, and it's going to be Venerated stopping in the open. They've got E United looking right at him. Pat Cap's going to open up the first barrage, taking down Pistola.
Now you see Interrogate, looks like he's trying to push onto this, but Venerated had to stop to heal, so
oh baby,
it's going to take a little bit longer, but now here comes the crash.
Oh baby!
They are just hard gunning it into here. They're just going to roll right up into this. Pistola time already playing defensive. Taylor J trying to get the vehicle into a new spot. I think he might just trying to get out of this. Envy is just rushing down towards E United, and E United wants no part of this fight. So we've got a little bit of a push that's coming up on the outside of it, and now everybody's repositioning around the outside.
This is going to be Venerated looking for the opening frag. It's Pistola time. He's basically stuck. It looks like United is going to have to recommit to this fight. A couple of their teammates decided to drive away, but they're looking for Pistola. They will trade one. That's Geist getting Pat Caps down in the back line.
Oh, no.
And Venerated will take down Moody just for fun.
Yeah, for funsies. But look at this. Geis still around there. You got Pistola Time, Dill Hero and Taylor J kind of keeping a watch from a distance here. Guys should be able to escape of this. So E United just going to go ahead and regroup as 3 and try to survive a little bit longer in this game.
That was a send it moment from Envy right there, Matt.
Oh, 100%, and I love it. Geis puts away his gun and just runs away. As you can see, everybody from E United kind of on a damage control situation right now, trying to get over to their vehicles. Who naturally does get rezzed, gets all the way healed back up. No real loss inside of that, except for the fact that that's going to be at least 1 down that's come out on Moody, so he might bleed out just a little bit faster.
Could they have pushed that, Moses? There's 2 down there. I mean, they had Moody and Pat.
I don't know if the call comes out that Pat is down. Pat's in a safe position. It's a tough call having Pistola Time. There's going to be a lot of comms happening at that stage, a lot of frantic, like, oh my God, they're sending all 3 vehicles our way. So in the play calling there, you might lose that information. But regardless, they only did pick up 1 kill. And for E United, I think that's the best way it could have gone, considering the aggression coming out of Envy there.
I'm kind of curious on how we saw some members leave so fast. They were like, nope, I want no part of what's going on. And it looked like a couple of them were just kind of sticking back around. So all of you United that's remaining does manage to regroup. Tempo Storm starting to separate it out. You guys talked about it. They might be looking for a couple of kills around locations. You can see they're already kind of doing that play style.
Yeah, they are playing that high ground, the terrain, rather, as they have kind of a 2-2 split going here between Sharky and Maluk and the other boys. But they have to worry about C9 and Y10 Fate coming in from the south here, Moses.
Envy came out of Leonis. It's not like they were in a position where they had to take that compound. Like, we just want it. And that was a if you guys haven't been watching the PKL, that's the type of thing you see every day there. So looks like Envy's been doing their film review as Maluk is going to start popping some tires. They've got their eyes again on poor E United, who is getting bullied right now.
I mean, E United, man. I feel so bad for them. They were just hanging out in their home. Somebody drives up, pops them in their head. They're trying to get their res off. Suddenly, everybody sends it on top of them. They're just trying to move to a new building, and suddenly Tempo Storm's over there jacking with them. So looks like they're still on a little bit of damage control, just trying to figure out how they want to play this. All over there next to their vehicles as well. I doubt that they're going to move, but just trying to, I would say it feels like just trying to protect what they've got at this stage.
Yeah, they're still 3 strong and centered up, though. So, yeah. I mean, it could be a lot worse for E United. I think that the we'll call it the tactical retreat from Envy was probably a good call, and now they're still looking pretty good in this new circle.
All paying dividends now for Envy as they find themselves at dead center, middle of the zone. Cloud9 to their south also has a pretty decent spot. They've got some ridges to work with. But now the question is, what happens on the northern side as teams are still making their way south? Poor Lazarus, they're limping around, but Noble's also coming down on the coastal highway, and now the pressure's all going to be on Ghost.
The northern part of the circle is just ridiculous right now. You can see Ghost cutting down through here. We got Oxy off to the side of him, Space Station Gaming. We also have Smoking Aces off on a similar vector, but we also have Cloud9 that's over here next to Tempt Fate.
Some long-range shots coming out here. Is Hypok going to land a shot right in K-Mine's little booty there? Are they going to be able to get the res on Valiant? Valiant kind of spread off here.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult to get to Valiant. A little bit of a line of sight. K-Mine's there, but now they're gonna have to pressure him off the ridge line to make sure that K-Mine cannot flush their teammate. The smokes and utility and the support coming for Valiant.
Cloud9 cycling a person whenever taking a little bit of damage, going, okay, at least stay peeked over this angle, see if maybe you can get anything off of it. But it really looks like Tempt Fate is playing this just the way they should. Sure, they lost a member, but they've got the smokes up, they've got the utility. Baja's doing a great job of being a distraction on the backside of this, but Cloud9 slowly making their way along this hillside, trying to find multiple fire angles. But again, it's just good, solid cover fire coming out from Tempt Fate.
This whole northeastern side is just a jumble of teams right now. Between K-Mind and the rest of C9, they're going to put a lot of damage on the Tempt Fate as they try to escape. And Tempt Fate's actually got the most space on the southern side for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I think you can take into your pub games whenever you're playing with a bunch of randoms here. If you have a down teammate and you're trying to go for that res, having that one player there, at least one person there, to try to just send return fire back, make sure that they're not allowed to just peek this and take shots for free while you're trying to get your res off.
Cover fire is so useful and so few people actually use it. You don't always have to hit the shot. If you can just force somebody to not peek, you can really provide enough cover to allow your teams to get rest.
There's actually a low-key amount of space here, believe it or not. I mean, with this next shift, it's going to dictate. We've already seen so much water come out. Simplicity's trying to make their way on the western side, and we have also got Endemic coming on the southern. Long rotate we see Tempo take so often.
Tempo is kind of caught in between 2 different spots right now. You can see that they're caught off in 2 different fights. Tempt Fate had to reposition now, slowly making their way over here next to Sharky. A little bit of angle on that, and you can see Wildcard getting caught up on the other duo for Tempo Storm at the time.
Yeah, this could be rough for Tempo, as you said, Wildcard kind of keeping Dre and Maluk at bay, while Sharky and Zampa are getting pushed on here by Y10 Fate. Doesn't look like Y10 Fate being too aggressive with it just yet. Well, they are going to take some long-range fire here from Envy as well.
Well, Y10 Fate also separated into a 2-2. It's really just Wildcard is the pack animal right now that's all running together. But they're already going for a little bit more of a reposition, making their way down towards the coast. And somehow, some way, even though there was a million teams up to the northeast of the circle altogether, they mostly managed to survive.
Well, we're only at minute 12 here. This next shift is going to make things a little bit hotter for those guys on the northeastern side. Now, the north or south shift is going to be the big question mark here. Envy's got the best position in the zone, but if you're endemic on that southern side, or even Y10 Fate a little to their north, if this thing goes hard to the north, it's going to be a tough run.
I love Wildcards just driving by and they're like, yeah, you know, this might be a little bit too separated. Turn back around, drive back up to the building, and nice parking job there.
Parking,
Yeah, no,
all
just.
right.
And then they do it right as the circle pops, and it's like, oh, well, let's just hop back into our vehicle. We talk about vehicle forts. They seriously built like a vehicle pyramid over there.
VG feeling good about this circle, but everybody else kind of a little skeptical here as Cloud9 and Envy on the edges. Everybody else having to make their way in. Looks like Y10 Fate already starting their transition wildcard, having to figure out what they want to do to get in. As you can see, they're still kind of split into this 2-2 thing, but To Mine Extreme already on the move.
Notice that there's not a lot of people around Los Leones. Teams don't like to play around Los Leones because if you have to leave Los Leones, it is a bloodbath. So right now, everybody is trying to keep as much distance away from that as they can, but they're slowly being forced to go that direction.
United is going to have a rough rotation coming up here. They've got Oxy bearing down on them. They're in their vehicles. Taylor J is going to run right smack into them. Wildcard also in their vehicles. They're going to reverse south rotate. That's a very technical term there, ladies and gentlemen. As they're going to come along that southern road once again, but where they go in from here is going to be a question mark. This might be a tough play from Wildcard.
Yeah, you see Ghost making a long rotation from the north here.
Oh,
they
boy.
went out into the blue, going to try to make their way around.
Where are you going?
The western side of Los Leones, I imagine here. As you see Y10 Fate also trying to make their way in. Envy still in this 2-2 split now. It looks like actually Venerated Moody going to hop in the vehicles. Are going to join Pat and Interrogate here. But taking out some tires here is going to be rough.
They're trapped. United's in trouble.
You can see that Oxy's up on the top of them, so they're pincered between two different teams. That's going to be Basher that takes a shot. You got Clam on the other angle for this. Two remaining members of United. That's going to knock down one, but Basher goes down in the exchange as well. The other members from Oxy not in a position that they can reinforce. They're in vehicles running back over this direction, but speaking of vehicles, what happened to Ghost? But,
oh, no.
So,
Two of them, Drassel?
Yeah.
Goodness.
I figured that Ghost was going for this Leonis entry, but Lazarus, unfortunately, because they were so late, happened to be there.
McCoy wants
This is like a highway pileup. That nade is going to take them all out as Phalanx takes down Balak, Shrimsy, and Drassel, and Ghost game is coming apart.
Oh, no. Well, Lazarus, on the other hand, that is 3 kills that they desperately needed. So McCoy just going to hide out in Los Leones as long as he can, just try to play the solo game. But, man, what an unfortunate turn of events for Ghost here.
Oh, and here we go. We got Jason down as well. E-United managed to circle around the outside of those rocks, get into a position, and now I believe just one member, J-Sank, alive. There's actually one member of Ghost and one member of Oxy alive in Los Leones right now.
Some nice shots coming out from Interrogate here. He's going to try. We're still taking out tires, Moses. We hate tires on Miramar. Can't stand them. We want to pop every single one we see. So Interrogate going to take those shots, but Space Station going to provide a couple of more targets here.
Yeah, they're just kind of running around. I mean, they're trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do actually right now. Space Station is just, they're coming on the edge of the zone. Losing vehicles at this stage is going to make things a little rougher. We're going to see another shift in that northern side getting hotter and hotter, and it's about to get real spicy as we are going all the way south. Endemic and Simplicity right on top of each other. C9 going to be holding on to a nice choke point.
It's Wildcard that's pushing right up next to Y10 Fate. Two members of Y10 Fate on this angle get a necessary down off of this. So now we have two different members from Wildcard slowly trying to make their way forward. Keep in mind, this is a split coming up from Y10 Fate, so only 2 members in this location. The other 2 members don't have any sight lines onto this. Pride starting to make his way towards the front of this, trying to get around the building. Valiant narrowly missing the sight line onto him.
Wow.
Pride's gonna spot out Valiant, get the flush onto him. So now just one member up. Hedgehor slowly making his way back on this other angle, starts to take fire, realizes the fact that he might not be able to come over here and provide any form of support for Hypoc. So Hypoc is caught off by himself. Meanwhile, Wildcard's still looking around. Do they know that he's here? They have to hear the footsteps, but it's such a dangerous point to push through. The smoke's really denying so much vision.
Surprised to see Valiant get surprised like that.
Yeah.
We're both surprised, I suppose.
Yeah, he went down way too quick in that fight. You can see Hetero and Baja were coming to provide support. But the second Valiant goes down, they pull off.
And this is something we're seeing more of. If people using smokes inside of positions where they feel it's too dangerous and somebody might push onto them to try to force them out of a fight. But Cloud9, Envy finally getting a little bit of sight back and forth on each other. Headshore's just driving away in the distance, might end up being involved inside of this and doesn't really want to be. But Envy's got smokes around all of their vehicles. Looks like they're trying to play this as defensive as possible. That's going to be a nice long-range grenade, but I think it's going to end up just a little bit too short. Can't go up that hillside. So now you can see everybody in Envy on full-on defense. Really, they have no way to get any type of vision.
C9's caught them with their pants down here a little bit. Envy's not in a position to try and defend this. It looks like C9's got a good ridgeline to work with, but just behind you can see Tempo Storm is encroaching.
Moody's going to be that front man, stepping forward, taking a little bit of damage. Profi's still making his way off on a different angle for this. K-Mind on the other side of that also taking a lot of damage. Sure, the guys from Envy, they have smokes. They've managed to keep their vehicles up for now. But whenever you throw down that much smoke, you really start to lose a lot of information. I think that they're starting to realize that.
But there is a big fight going off to the southeast of this right now, splitting Cloud9's focus. They're going to be paying attention to Tempo, who's coming up right behind them. So this could be a really bad fight for C9 if Envy turns it around here.
Envy just wants to get out of here, and you can see Venerated took a little bit of damage from Nerf, but Nerf's starting to have to get pulled back. We've got Tempo Storm, Noble, all pushing up on a similar pattern. So with this, everybody from Cloud9 just has to relent and let Envy go their separate way, while Lobes is just peppering bullets right into Noble.
This is a little precarious for C9. They got Tempo Storm getting closer and closer on their flank. Lobes is going to have to be aware. The Zamp is down in the foreground there. You can see Dre again separated. Tempo Storm not ready to pounce onto C9, but C9 is picking up lots of kills, and there's more vision.
Maluk managed to sneak up on the side of this. Lobes did manage to spot him out, I believe. Looks like we're going to go for a grenade toss. This could fall down right inside that ridge, but I think it's going to have a little bit too short of a distance. The rest of Cloud9 starting to realize something could be going wrong, and that's a nice step up. Your boy Dre gets the down and the flush off of that, and actually going to be able to make it over there and potentially res Zampa. Cloud9 has too many enemies at too many different angles and can't necessarily focus on one because everybody is slowly pushing up onto them.
While all this was going on, Envy regrouped, and now they're turning their attention to start trying to get involved in this fight. We see another fight going on the bottom as Y10 Fate trying to get involved.
A lot of damage coming back over on that. Look at Maluk. Zampa just doing a double team back over towards K-Mine, but now two members of Cloud9 up, and
greedy.
they get the down onto that, so Sharky's going to have to go for the res. Zampa's still running along with Nero on no health. That grenade's going to roll back over there and is going to get the flush onto K-Mine. Nerf can't get the res off of it. Zampa does go down inside of that exchange. Now Profi playing up in the front. Yeah, boy Dre aware of it, trying to get a little bit more information. Going to spot out Profi, but doesn't get the bullets to connect. Finally managed to do it. Get the spray back over the other side of it. Nerf taking a lot of damage as well. Cloud9 starting to feel a lot of pressure as Tempo Storm continuing this push up. Grenade looks like it's just going to go for the flush there, but Nerf not really having a lot of different angles he can play off of. Everybody is firing into this, and they're not even inside the safe zone.
Dre had the extended mag there. He gets the double kill and wipes C9 instantly, but Nerf trying to go for the res here. Dre going to play it aggressive.
Playing along the outside of the wall. Oh, he spots out one, gets a little bit of damage. Not going to spot out the other one. Finally does manage to get the spray back over there, but Nerf does manage to get the connecting shots for it. Sharky's just trying to get more meds up. Nerf doing the same, but it's going to be wild card. They spotted this out. They hear it, and they're starting to make their way up on this other hillside. They just want to join in this party, and they're going to be able to mop up on everything because everybody in this fight, Tempo Storm and Cloud9, have taken so much damage. Your boy Dre does get flushed out, but look, wild card looking back up towards Sharky, now having to just drop to his belly to try to survive.
He gets taken out by Tumai. Great shots landed from range here as Maluk now the last remaining member alive for Tempo.
Nerf managed to get the res back over onto Profi, but you can see Maluk's just trying to make the crossover there. They're essentially letting Cloud9 take all the bullets for him, let them be the distracting factor. Wildcard still stepping up forward slowly and steadily. Extreme looking back on this other angle for it. Does spot out Profi, a lot of damage coming through. Extreme's gonna get the down onto that one, and with this, Cloud9 is eliminated, but look, Maluk's taking some shots, and he gets dropped off of that.
What a crazy fight going on. And meanwhile, Endemic is now getting involved. VG getting involved. Envy over as well. So this whole southeastern side of the circle is going bananas.
So now, Envy getting more and more control over this angle. Looks like Vicious Gaming making their way back down next to Wildcard. These two guys might end up bumping into each other at any given second. But the circle is just going to keep forcing everybody forward, and Sharu spots out Pride, gets the spray down onto it. Sharpshot still holding the angle, but he's actually going to be able to hit that. Protege gets the follow-up with it, and Wildcard goes down, but it's going to be Vicious Gaming running in the blue just right into the bullets coming out from Endemic.
Looks like Vicious Gaming is going to be the ones coming out on top, at least for now, as Protege's run out of space. He's Got a lot of meds in that bucket, but as far as Envy is concerned, they're sitting pretty. They've only picked up 2 kills, but they are the survivors on this now barren eastern side, as it's going to be Simplicity just, again, sitting pretty in the center of the zone. Lazarus did wipe out Ghost. It has not been a good start for Ghost so far today, but as far as Envy is concerned, they're feeling good.
Yeah, Simplicity feeling even better. They've been in this compound in the center. I'm not sure how many kills they have off of this. I don't know how many people have gone anywhere near it, but now Lazarus and STK are going to be popping off in the north side here.
And Dimick has essentially the entirety of the south all to themselves. Lazarus post up smack in the middle of shoot to kill. Nice grenade from Purdy. Curdy's just going to go ahead and down Woe. Felix was just trying to provide some form of cover so that way Fozu could get rezzed. Adam's trying to get an angle onto this, and look at it's just solid. Slow execution coming out from shoot to kill. Just constantly connecting with the grenades with this. So much smoke is denying any form of information. Really, Lazarus is aware that they're surrounded, but they don't know from which angles anybody is approaching from. And keep in mind, they are not inside the safe zone.
Lazarus is getting next to no vision right here. They're getting naded out one at a time. Shoot to Kill's got them fully surrounded. They're going to take the zone on them. You can see in Civil going to the south. He's got them basically contained here. Lazarus out of their element.
Felix taking a little bit of damage as he looked through the windows, trying to figure out if he can make it over towards the safe zone. Shoot to Kill just methodically moving around them, denying any form of information, using the smokes at windows, and just constantly moving forward to get that inside position. Now Lazarus has nowhere that they can go.
Yeah.
Shoot to Kill is just waiting for them.
Shoot to Kill playing that perfectly, managing to get in between Lazarus and the circle. Eventually, Lazarus is going to have to come out of these buildings. Shoot to Kill has perfectly lined him up, though, as Envy's going to make a mad dash for the center of the circle. Simplicity going to try to do something, but Endemic's so close.
And Dimick right back behind that. Guys from Simplicity also throwing some grenades off of this. This is just coming apart for Envy. They are taking so much damage. Every single one of those grenades is just rolling down into the ravine and doing so much work. Mini Fridge steps up and takes a couple of shots. Really, it's just Taro is the last member up and alive for Envy, as Endemic, again, just complete control of the south. And yep, up towards the north, Lazarus got eliminated while that exchange was going on. Shoot to Kill now going to be making their way in the safe zone.
Unfortunately for Envy, they found themselves in a tough rotation in their vehicles. Endemic was waiting in the ditch, and they just tossed a bunch of nades over. Now it's going to be Taro trying to salvage this round. Penta's got a line onto Endemic. This has actually been Simplicity's time to shine, as they've got the high ground and the vision, and you can see this is devastation that was rained down on Envy in that ditch.
I mean, they made a brave call. They tried to go for the ditch off of it. They were going to try to use the vehicles, but Endemic was just in perfect range to go for grenades while Simplicity was hitting him with the shots. Now, Simplicity does have the high ground, but they are right on the edge of the circle. They do have a crate back behind them. Looks like they're thinking about going back and grabbing, and it's going to be Lynxy that picks it up of all people. So he's going to get himself a nice new damaging toy to work with. Meanwhile, Endemic is still just trying to hold that line, and nobody seems to be aware that Shoot to Kill is starting to make their way inside the circle. Finally, a couple of shots from Adam get the drop on Lynxy. Keep in mind, he was going for that crate, and a little bit of greed is now going to come back and bite him.
Somehow, Hetror still alive through all of this. He's going to snake right up behind Interrogate here. Simplicity has to turn their attention towards Shoot to Kill, so they've kind of taken their attention away from Envy, but Endemic still interested. You can see something. He smells blood in the water. He wants to finish this off.
Are we going to end up with a Why Tempt Fate, Interrogate, Envy, 1v1 on the side of the circle while all this other stuff is going on?
Oh, man, they've got a way to go.
Already making their way for the circle. Shoot to Kill's got a lot of circle control. Now it's going to be Simplicity that needs to make their way down the hillside. And the two solos are just kind of looking at everything like, really? It had to pop on that side of the circle. Could have been over here.
Well, let's... Sorry, go ahead. Endemic having just a great game so far. Not a lot of kills to be spoken of, but you know, they're sitting in that 8th place position with 170 points. They still have a shot at getting into this top 4. They needed a game like this. They need to come up with a few more kills here to have it be that much more worth, though.
Simplicity's waiting for any sign of life down. They know that there's a couple of teams or a couple of players missing down there. So for Shoot to Kill, they're actually taking very good zone control. They've got Purdy Curdy up in the center position. They're going to be biding their time here. This is the type of game that Shoot to Kill likes to play.
Simplicity getting a little bit more mobile. Shoot to Kill should have some type of vision here in just a second. And oh, looks like it's going to be Hetror that ends up winning that 1v1 off on the outside. But now everybody spins back around and goes, who the hell is fighting back over there? Hetror is still going to have to make his way about 50 or so meters. Got a couple of utility pieces to work with. Actually does stall Simplicity for just a second whenever they turned around and was trying to figure out what was happening back behind him.
He has sent something back out into the circle as well to kind of keep an eye on this. Endemic keeping the southern part of this circle. Is Hetror going to be taking the shots from Check Shooter? It's not going to be enough to down him, though, and he should be able to break line of sight here for at least a little bit.
You can see Check Shooter overshot that because he was expecting Hetror to continue running forward. Hetror now still just trying to cross back over, and Endemic spots him out. gonna drop him off of that. So Endemic sitting at 4 kills right now. Again, control of the southern part of the circle, but it's gonna be Simplicity and Shoot to Kill that are being forced right up next to each other as Wolf hits a nice shot on a check shooter.
Endemic is going to try and press the action. They do have a little bit of an opportunity here. That's going to be Alo getting the quick down and Adam with the finish onto Penta, as Simplicity feeling the heat from Shoot to Kill is now getting aggressive. They've got 7 kills. They haven't taken a ton of damage so far. They dispatched Lazarus relatively easily. And now for Shoot to Kill, they're taking really good high-low position. You can see Purdy in the flank defense. He's not going to allow Endemic to cross this ridge line, and Alo is just going to be front man and trying to take out Wooly.
Wooly steps up, check shooter back behind it, trying to get the res, so it looks like they do manage to get 3 members up. Endemic has the circle, but Purdy Curdy is just carving a path out of it, saying, okay, this is where my guys are gonna come in. Simplicity aware, they can't make that cross along the road. It's too dangerous, there's just no cover. They need to make sure that they push these Shoot to Kill players out. But now, Endemic just looking back up this hillside. Sure, there are 2 members of Shoot to Kill that are back over there, but it's really Simplicity that is in their focus right now, and that could come back to bite Endemic as continually we see Shoot to Kill move closer and closer to Endemic.
Shoot to Kill taking a great path to get involved in this. They're making their way into this next circle. Simplicity has to kind of wait. They have nothing really to distract Endemic from focusing their full attention on him. As Shoot to Kill just taking their time, making their way in.
It's hilarious. We've got Simplicity that's like, look, we really need to take down Shoot to Kill over there. Can you please stop Endemic? And Endemic is shooting at Simplicity. Meanwhile, Shoot to Kill is just going for position, getting right up on Endemic. They're not being too loud as of yet. So we got to see how Simplicity is going to make any play off of this. They just got a couple of rocks. They still need to creep just a little bit further forward, but how much utility do they have left? How many more smokes? That's really going to be the question. Can they make this last little cross, and can Shoot to Kill distract Endemic enough for them to make anything out of this?
Simplicity doesn't have time and space here. Unfortunately, they couldn't take a one-to-one team fight with Endemic, and then got forced down onto the south side, and Shoot to Kill, and they just can't find a way across here. And now even Shoot to Kill is pressuring Endemic.
Shoot to Kill getting some shots back over towards Simplicity. Lynxy takes a lot of damage, has to drop back down. Wooly's trying to make his way forward. You can see that he's going to try to use this little bit of a hill, slowly crawl forward. Lynxy goes down inside of it, and that's just going to be all she wrote for him. But Wooly's still playing on this angle. Might have a little bit of a sight line over towards Shoot to Kill. We're about to see the circle finally collapse down, and we're going to move into circle 9, smack dab in the middle of the circle. But we were talking about circle control. Shoot to Kill was really pushing for it, and it's going to pay off as there we go. Simplicity gets spotted out and goes down, and now it's just Endemic versus Shoot to Kill, and it's Endemic that gets the down onto Adam to get this started with.
Flush onto Wolf, though, so Endemic already down to 3 as Purdy Curdy and Alo trying to make their way in here. I'm not sure if they... looks like Uncivil going to be able to get the res off here as well, so Shoot to Kill should be up to 4 here again soon.
Alo gets a nice spray over towards something, now moving them up to 10 kills as a team. Uncivil looking back over towards Crispier. Mini Fridge Jr. way back in the back, just trying to provide some type of cover, but you can see this 2-2 split from Shoot to Kill has been really hard for Endemic to work with. Shoot to Kill now getting that high ground. They've got control over the center of the circle. Crispier realizing this, trying to get the shots on that other angle. Alo taking a lot of damage, but Crispier does as well inside of that exchange. Mini Fridge Jr. using this time to slowly trying to get some type of angle, but he just can't step out to provide any form of cover for Crispier. Uncivil still looking back over this. Now the smokes are coming out. Utility is starting to be used. Mini Fridge Jr. is going for his run. He does get spotted out by Purdy Curdy. Now it's just Crispier running out in the open, and he's going to get spotted out as that is going to be Shoot to Kill.
12 kill win for Shoot to Kill. That's 2 days in a row with a big win for those boys. They were currently sitting in 4th place going into this game. That is going to be huge for their look on the leaderboard here, Moses.
Yeah, Shoot to Kill, that's a classic win from them, taking center control. Basically, again, the stranglehold. They did not allow that end game to go anywhere that they didn't want it to go. Endemic had no chance being forced to the edge of the circle. That is a classic tactical PUBG win right there.
Oh, I mean, that's what Shoot to Kill does, right? These guys always are playing. I think we talked about the fact they have phenomenal breach tactics. The way that they just kind of dismantled Lazarus and played around that building, using smokes to deny vision, and then they just got position after position and played off of it so well.
Everybody else in that top 4 having a little bit of a rough game. We see Tempo again, 9th place with 5 kills though, so not the worst performance of all time. But Envy in 5th place with only 2 kills. C9 in 11th with 5 kills. But so Shoot to Kill should be, we might see them jump here a pretty decent amount.
Yeah, there was only 3 points in between Shoot to Kill and Cloud9 before that round, and so now we're going to see Shoot to Kill move back up into that 3rd place spot.
It's about
and
23,
really,
I think,
and
between
those top 4 teams all have a chance at kind of taking a stab towards each other. And I mean, what? We're looking at this 20 points behind Envy with shoot to kill, and they just racked up a ton of kills and got a first place.
Absolutely. Shoot to kill, I think, is probably one of the tightest strategy teams in professional PUBG, just the way that they were able to position themselves around Lazarus. It's like kids playing with a toy, you know what I mean? Unfortunately for Lazarus, they were 100% outclassed by shoot to kill on the edge of the zone, and just the patience that they're able to play with, execute the strategy the way they want it to. Teams really struggle to win fights against shoot to kill in a 4-on-4.
Well, we talk about control, especially control in the late game, and it always feels like shoot to kill has control of every stage of the game. Whenever something happens to them, it's like they get caught out in these really random fights, but whenever they get to methodically push any fight that they want, they are just, it's so hard to contend with.
I mean, they're like a force of nature, man. You can't really say anything else about shoot to kill other than probably one of the most consistently good teams in the NPL right now. But another win, another big win, big points for them.
Absolutely. Well, they are standing by with Rachel down on the stage.
Thank you guys so much. I'm here with Uncivil. We got a game to talk about. That was a beautiful game of splits, of pushes, and I think Moses said it, tactical plays. So I want to start at the very beginning and talk to me about where you guys decided to drop and push in from.
We did our normal loot spots near Hacienda. We spread loot a little bit, and we just kind of go from there.
Yeah, a lot of clean plays right into those final circles there. I saw some 1-3 splits, some 2-2 splits. Talk to me about your communication on the team, who's calling those out, and how that plays out.
Pretty Curdy, our IGL, he calls out most of that stuff. Sometimes it's individual plays, stuff that you see that happens. You got to react so quickly. It's really about understanding the situation as a team.
I saw Pretty Curdy was the one pushing in there, getting you guys the intel, I'm sure, but putting himself at risk. What happens if he goes down? Who takes over?
It's more of like he's still chirping at the bit. You know, he's real vocal. He talks a lot. Sometimes it gets a little excessive, but hey, we love it. So, I mean, you can never have too much communication, so it's pretty good.
No, you cannot. Cannot have too much communication, and that came into play in a big way in that final circle there. Tell me a little bit more about your use of smokes and how you're trying to outthink these other teams.
The use of smokes in this game you have to, if you want to be a successful team, you need to learn how to smoke correctly and well. They changed the game completely. Sometimes in PUBG, that's all you have, so you really got to learn how to do that.
And is there any differentiation between Miramar and Erangel when you try and conserve and hold on to these till the end? Are you using them throughout? What is the numbers in your head that you try to keep?
I don't know if there's a specific number of smokes, but everyone should have like 2 to 3, you know, because a lot of times, like I said, there's nothing for you to go to. So in those clutch situations where you have to cross a road, that's what you need to do is smoke. So smoke is king.
All right, played out like a pretty standard game. We saw a lot of just really solid play there, but anything that stood out to you is especially interesting?
I don't know if anything's special. I think the push on Lazarus we had in the compound really changed the game for us. We saw that they were fighting ghosts, and we took advantage and surrounded them, and basically won us the game.
Well played, guys. Well, we have more PUBG coming at you real soon. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. Analyst Takeover. Hey,